welcome back to Fred in the Shed. Fred up in the Radio Shack, and guys, it is a cold one up here today. We've got snow at the moment in the UK whilst I'm making this video. This video, just something that comes up on the comments from people that are new back to radio, and this keeps coming up every now and then, and it's something that people feel a bit embarrassed about, and it's it's like one of those things. This is what men do. Men don't mention certain things, do they? If you've got a problem and you have to go to the doctor, for example, men put it off. Women just get on with it, but men, we tend to put it off, don't we? Especially if it's of a bit of a personal nature, it's even worse. But this subject is all about mic shyness, and I don't know, a lot of blokes don't talk about it. They find it a little bit embarrassing. They somehow see it as a bit of a weakness, and that's absolutely crazy, because I think that when you come back to radio, it doesn't matter if you're supremely confident. Everyone suffers a little bit of mic shyness, and it's one of those things that you might not even realise that you're going to suffer from it. For example, I'll tell you my own story. I mean, I was on the radio when I was 15, 16 years old when I came onto radio. I stayed on till my sort of late teens, about 18, 19, and I was like king of the microphone, you know, king up, oh yeah, don't worry there, mate, yeah, you'll get over it, you'll get under it, you know, oh yeah, 10-4, buddy, yeah, see you later, what's your 20, all of that, you know, junk we talked about. I was a chatterbox. Well, you know me, don't you? I'm a chatterbox. And when I came back to radio, initially, when I first picked up that microphone, when I first picked it up, I felt quite apprehensive, especially when there were local truckers on the radio, and I was trying to get a radio check, just to check that my system was working, you know, my setup, and basically they weren't very kind of friendly, really. And I was like carrying on the side, and I was like, oh yeah, radio check please, and they were, yeah right, yeah mate, yeah, your radio's working bud, you're getting out. And I was like, oh thanks mate, oh whereabouts are you heading? And then just silence. And the guy came back and said, look mate, you asked for a radio check and I gave it to you, but I'm not your friend and I don't want to talk to you. And I was like, oh yeah, okay mate, sorry. And I remember putting the microphone down, and I physically backed away from the radio, and I sat there very quiet. I was like, oh, okay. And yeah, this is the thing. It's quite intimidating sometimes, especially if you've got a group and you've got guys. And what happens in a group, and we're just as guilty on the 305, when you go on the radio regularly, every day or just a few times a week, you get to know people and you talk about things going on in their lives. I don't often show you that on the video. I cut all that out because you don't really need to see it, and it's people. I had a comment on a video a few months ago. I'm not going to say the guy's name, I can't remember it anyway, I get so many comments, but basically he'd been watching the Fred in the Shed videos, he liked the 305 videos, and he'd done the right thing. He'd bought himself a CRT 6900. He'd been on in the day, back in the day, just on the 40 channels on the FM, and he was struggling a little bit with the 6900. And he came on and he sort of said to me, oh, could I give him a little bit of advice about setting it up? And I was able to do that. I think I'd already done a video on it anyway, like I normally have. Anyway, he came back and he said, like, oh, I've sort of set up, I had a couple of radio checks from mobile breakers and it's working. He said, and I found this group of guys, there's these 3 guys that come on in the evenings. And I said, oh, that's brilliant, you know, fantastic. He said, but I'm really sort of like struggling to get on the side, and I really feel a bit awkward about breaking into their conversation. He said, I just haven't got the confidence, which is understandable. And he said there was these 3 guys. One guy was way in the back of the box. He didn't think he'd reach him, even though he had a proper outside antenna at this time. There was another guy who was getting him a very good signal, and he was sort of holding the group, if you like. And you do get dominant people in the group. That's quite normal. Someone's got to sit in a chair and pass things around. But this guy, he reckons, was possibly a radio ham, because he was very knowledgeable about radio. He was very technical about radio, and he felt it was a little bit intimidating to try and talk to him, because he didn't sort of seem to have a lot of chat, a lot of bunny. He was very much straight to the point, talking about their equipment. And then there was a third guy who sort of sounded a bit more friendly, and he was okay, but he said the trouble is this, because this dominant guy is talking all the time, the other guy is very much quick on the key, you know, one word answers, then the guy just carries on. He said, I just don't, he said, I feel a bit sort of awkward about cutting in. So I suggested to him, I said, look, it's what you want to do. If these guys meet up regularly, if they're on channel at the same time, I said, get there before the net starts. I said, and call out. You know, I was anyone on, say, on channel 30. Oh, anyone on channel 30? You know, it's Fred. I've got Fred here from St Albans. Just wanted a bit of a radio check and maybe a chat. I said, because it might be that the friendlier guy, he might come on a little bit earlier and wait for the other guy to come on. I said, if you get him first, I said, he'll talk to you. I said, and then when the sort of more dominant guy comes on, I said, you've already sort of got your foot in the door and hopefully they'll pass you around. And he never, unfortunately, when you get comments like that, some people don't really give you feedback. They don't come back. So I never knew really what happened. But that was my advice. Mike, Shyness, don't worry about it. If you come back on radio and you hear some contacts, that's brilliant. And if you feel a little bit intimidated or you feel a little bit kind of awkward about cutting into a group, into a conversation, that's perfectly normal. It is perfectly. Don't worry about it. We all go through it. Although we don't talk about it, we all go through it when we come back on radio. Another thing is people say, I don't know what to talk about. I broke into this conversation and then my mind completely went blank and I just didn't know what to say. And that's another thing as well. That can happen. That happens to all of us on a 305. We know each other well enough to say like, yeah, back to you, Steph, because I can't think of anything to say. But one fallback, one failsafe is that most radio guys or girls like to talk about their equipment. So if your mind goes blank and you just, oh yeah, come in, Fred. Oh, okay. Oh, what radio are you using, mate? Oh, I've got a CRT 9900. Oh, okay. What's that like? Is it any good? Oh yeah, I get on with it. Okay, you know, it does this and does that. Oh, what antenna you got up? You know, just ask them about their equipment, and generally most people will talk a little bit, and then it sort of eases the conversation, and then you can ask how long they've been on radio, and hopefully they'll ask you questions back, and that's how the conversation flows. Just in real life, really, when you meet someone out in the street. Anyway, here it comes. Here's the video. I hope you're all well. I hope you're staying warm and all the rest of it. There's the thumbs up from old me. Give it back to me down below. I'd appreciate that. It helps the channel. And here's a little bit of clip of radio around Hertfordshire, Buckinghamshire, Bedfordshire, on sideband, our 305 group. Cheers, guys. Here it comes. Basically use it for your car engine. That's what I bought it for. So, so I couldn't hear nothing out of the ear. So I said to the good lady, like, oh, I'm gonna. So I got the bore scope. Jammed it in my ear and full of wax.
Bloody hell. Yeah, I don't like sticking things in my ears. Bit dangerous, isn't it?
Well, it is really, but it's quite a big thing, this thing. So like, went on to the NHS, like the website, and they said they're no longer, for me anyway, they're no longer booking appointments to clear earwax. So you have to make an appointment at Specsavers or one of the local things. So I phoned them up. And they said, yeah, they'll do it. It was 70 quid they wanted, but you got to put oil in it for 14 days before they'll actually clear it. And I thought, I can't go round with one ear for 14 days. But I put oil in it for about 5 days and it didn't clear on myself. And then in the end, I bought a thing from Amazon actually, just one of these rubber ball things that you put in a mix of white vinegar and water. And I DIY'd it and got it on a second go.
Yeah, I know. I've got some of that ear stuff, liquid stuff that it's meant to break the wax up. But I mean, when you stick that in your ear hole, you've got to have your head on one side for a few minutes until it works into your ear.
Yeah, that's the hydrogen stuff, and that's a weak hydrogen peroxide. I didn't want to try that. No, there you go. So yeah, she's got to sort the NHS out because it's ridiculous. You can't get an appointment.
Yeah, I think that's broken beyond repair now, Fred. Sad to say, but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know, old mate. But anyway, I'm going to have a little shout out, and I'll be shooting off in a second. You got Fred in the Shed, 1664, with the group on the 305. Any QSKs, any break stations, anyone just listening, want to come in? We're just having a little chat today, so you're more than welcome. Slide on the side, slide. Break, come in.
I'm back again. I was here earlier. I'm back again. It's Richard in Anfield. Good afternoon, Fred.
Good afternoon, Richard. I think you're mobile because the power meter's moving about.
I am, mate. Just come down past the fire station in
Nice one. Getting a lovely signal from you, Richard. Your system, the old system's working well. Getting 7s and 8s from you. So I trust you well. Trust you're not too busy.
Yeah, not too bad, mate, not too bad. I say the old mobile's doing well. I got out Sunday, I was taking a trip up to the coast, and I got as far as Braintree, and I was still talking to Tim.
Do you take that, Steph?
Yeah, I thought he was talking generally to anybody, but yeah, what were you on about, Richard? Processors, you say?
They got protesters, milk, vegan, I guess there'll be vegans, protesting on outside Arla Dairies.
Oh, bloody hell, just run them over.
They got police everywhere, there's lorries everywhere, it's bloody chaos down here.
Oh, bloody nose.
Right, yeah, Chris up in where? You hearing anything from Richard? He's mobile in Hatfield.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, afternoon, Richard. On the outfield, on the field. Yeah, you give me 5 on 5, mate. Mobile.
Afternoon there, Chris. I'm just backing the car up. Won't be a minute.
Roger.
Well, we got a nice bit of sunshine over here, Fred, at the moment.
Nothing here yet. I'm looking out. It's not as grey, and I think it may have stopped raining, but it still looks pretty wintry on my old mate, Steph.
You got any sunshine over there, Chris, still?
Sunshine, it's got a bit cloudy again now.
He can hear you perfectly. So if you want to pass a message on to Paul, he can receive you.
I recoaxed the 270 with my Ultraflex 7, and what prompted me was me and you talking about it, and I thought I'd better go out there and do it, and it looked okay, so I went and did that this afternoon, and also recoaxed me. I've got a 40 metre double bazooka that I've got, and I recoaxed that today as well, so I'm well happy.
Oh, that sounds good, Dave, good. Yeah, what have you done both lots with the Ultraflex then?
Yeah, everything's using Ultraflex, and I also run some Ultraflex down to the Antron. So the Antron in a tree now has Ultraflex on it. So yeah, I've not noticed any difference at the minute, but you never know.
Now 588 London, 588 London, waving hand. Well, you're all treading on top of each other now, aren't you?
Sure, a lot of QRM this morning. But good morning once again.
Waving hand.
Glad that Mother Nature's with us, Dave. Yeah, I did. Quite about afternoon for you.
Yeah, good morning, North Italy. Good morning, North Carolina. New York is calling.
588 London, 588 London, calling.
As noisy today. Texas 193, Rochester, New York, waving.
0009, London, England, 0009, London, England, call.
Roger, 014, Victor, Oscar, Golf, 001, Mon ami Dominique, merci beaucoup, 73, bonjour.
Right here. Yeah, there in the UK, it's rough and tough. Everybody's in there today. Just a Yaesu FTDX-10 and a Super Penetrator, 30 feet.
Hello, 002. CQDX from 91 Division. This is Juliet 009 Bravo Golf Whiskey from City Chicago. Calling CQDX.